Hello, my name is Sonali and I welcome you back to a new episode of Around the World in 7 Days. There was a time when America had an unchallenged supremacy in the Pacific region. The countries present here used to follow its instructions, but with the passage of time, the politics of the world has changed. Now a player like China has also entered the game. Where earlier Russia was a challenge for America, now China is its biggest headache. Actually, China has shown its presence in the Pacific region, which is considered to be the stronghold of America. By entering into agreements with the small island countries present here, it has succeeded in bringing them to its side. Actually, all over the world, China keeps on showing off its power from time to time. Therefore, usually even the big countries want to maintain good relations with it. But there is also a country which is showing eyes to a powerful country like China. Fiji, an island country in the South Pacific region, has recently indicated that it may break its defense agreement with China. Fiji's Prime Minister Sitiveni Rabuka has said that his country is reconsidering its security relationship with China. It is also considering whether the police exchange agreement with China should be cancelled or not. The news has come at a time when geopolitical tensions are already rising in the Pacific region. So the question is, why does Fiji want to do this? What is this agreement that Fiji wants to break? Is this a sign of China's weakening hold in the Pacific? Apart from this, there is also a question that what will be the implications of this decision on the politics of the Pacific region? Should this be seen as the increasing influence of America amongst the island countries present in the Pacific region? So let's talk about all these questions one by one. Basically, in the year 2011, Fiji's military dictatorship government had made a defense agreement with China. Under this, an agreement was made to train Fiji's police personnel in China. Along with this, there is also a provision for the deployment of Chinese police officers in Fiji. The deal was done under the then government of Fiji led by Frank Bainimarama. But the current Prime Minister Sitiveni Rabuka wants a change in the foreign policy. It is also worth noting here that Sitiveni is considered anti-China. In fact, during his election campaign, he had said that if he comes to power, he will break his ties with China. However, on the question of pulling out from the defense agreement, he says that our system is different from China. Our democratic system and justice system are different. That's why we will enter into such agreements with countries whose systems is like that of ours. He further said that in this matter, other countries like Australia and New Zealand are closer to us because their values are somewhat similar to ours. If we talk about what this could mean, the small island countries in the South Pacific region are strategically very important for China. These countries enable it to protect essential sea routes as well as access to the South Pacific Ocean. That's why China keeps trying to strengthen its relations with these countries. Apart from Fiji, these include island countries like New Zealand, Solomon, Samoa and Papua New Guinea. But apart from China, some other big countries also want to establish their supremacy in this region. For this, these countries are indirectly involved in the struggle. In this struggle, China is on one side, while countries like Australia, America and India on the other side. In such a situation, if Fiji slips out of China's hands, then it may be a sign of the increasing influence of America along with the decreasing power of China in the region. Actually, the US is worried about China's growing power in the South Pacific Ocean. In view of this, it is trying to strengthen its hold in the region. This is the reason that in the last February, it had announced the reopening of its embassy in Solomons after almost 30 years. This embassy was closed by America in the year 1993. After this, American diplomats were doing Solomon's diplomatic work from neighboring Papua New Guinea. Later in March, the US State Department also announced the opening of an embassy in Vanuatu. Apart from this, in the year 2022, during the Pacific Islands Summit held in Fiji, the US announced the opening of 2 more embassies in Tonga and Kiribati. These developments reflect a shift in the US diplomatic priorities to enhance engagement with its neighbors in the Pacific region. However, this engagement is particularly being seen as a response to China's expansion in the South Pacific region. This can be understood from the fact that an American report titled Indo-Pacific Strategy states that in the rapidly changing scenario, the US, along with its close allies and friendly countries, should firmly establish a foothold in the Indo-Pacific region. Significantly, Australia is America's biggest supporter in this whole exercise. It is helping America a lot by joining organizations like Quad and AUKUS. This is because China has become a cause of concern for Australia as well. That's why it is also increasing its influence in the island countries of the region. In fact, there was news in the year 2022 that Papua New Guinea, a very close island country of Australia, would enter into a defense agreement with Australia. This was a big blow to China because China was considered to have a strong presence in the Papua New Guinea. However, the agreement is still pending. Apart from this, Australia is trying to counter China along with its neighboring country New Zealand in the southeast. Last year, Australia, New Zealand and the US raised concerns over China's new security deal with the Solomon Islands. However, it is another matter that New Zealand is also maintaining relations with China. New Zealand PM Chris Hipkins was also on a visit to China in the recent past. During this, he supported China's claim in CPTPP, that is Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, and DEPA, that is Digital Economy Partnership Agreement. Here, India is also increasing its reach in the South Pacific region. Prime Minister Narendra Modi went on a visit to Papua New Guinea last May. This is the country where China has invested a lot under the Belt and Road Initiative. It has also entered into a free trade agreement with Papua New Guinea. In this context, the visit of Prime Minister Modi was very important. During this, he attended the conference of FIPIC, that is Forum for Indo-Pacific Islands Cooperation. The organization was established in November 2014 during Prime Minister Modi's visit to Fiji. Apart from India, it includes Fiji, Papua New Guinea, Tonga, Tuvalu, Kiribati, Samoa, Vanuatu, Niue, Micronesia, Marshall Islands, Cook Islands, Palau, Nauru and Solomon Islands. These countries were highly receptive for India. Speaking at the conference, James Marape, the Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea, said that we are falling prey to the global political game. Because of this, apart from inflation, other problems also arise here. India is the leader of the global south. That's why we will stand with India's leadership on the global forum. Further, he urged India to be an advocate for the island nations of the Pacific region. He said that we want India to do the same for us as it fights for the rights of emerging economies on global platforms. In this way, if we look at the words of Prime Minister Marape, then it seems that India will emerge as a significant player in the region. Well, whether Fiji will break its agreement with China or not, it remains a matter to be seen. But it is certain that big powers are showing a lot of interest in this area. On one hand, China is increasing its reach, and on the other hand, America is trying its best to stop China, whereas countries like India and Australia are strengthening their siege to safeguard their national interest as well as their national security. So that's all for today. See you in the next episode. But before leaving, let's note down a question based on today's story. Throw light on the security related agreement between Fiji and China. Also explain what is its significance in the context of the geopolitics.